Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2023 Toyota Corolla Cross LE all-wheel drive. Let's get started. This is now the second year that the Corolla Cross is offered here in the States, and usually for a second year of a new model, we don't usually see too many changes, but this year Toyota did add their new audio multimedia software inside to the screens. We also have Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 as opposed to the Safety Sense 2.0 that we had last year, and we now have 4 USB-C ports inside the interior. Under the hood, we have a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that makes 169 horsepower and is combined with a CVT automatic transmission. The 2-liter 4-cylinder is the same engine that we see across the non-hybrid Corolla sedans. The LE all-wheel drive starts at $26,690, and this one as equipped is $29,328. In this overview, we're going to go over the exterior and then we're going to jump inside and talk about some of the features. Starting off in the front of the Corolla Cross LE, we have these LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. The LE model does not get any fog lights. You would have to go up to the XLE if you want to get fog lights, but we still have these little circle cutouts over there where they would be. In the front here, we also have our Toyota emblem and sport style grille, but the entire upper section of this front grille is totally blocked off, and only the bottom 2 rows of this front grille are open for airflow. Just below the grille, we have some more black plastic with some openings for more airflow down below. At the top of the windshield, there is a camera mounted, which is going to help us out with the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 features, and the radar is also mounted behind the Toyota emblem. There's going to be some body lines as well on the hood, so here from our left and right side, we have this curving line that swoops through the hood, and much closer to the wipers, there's a little bit of a harder to see body line that just goes across the entire front hood. This exterior color is Windchill Pearl, which is Toyota's Pearl White for the Corolla Cross, and it isn't shining very much right now because it's really cloudy, but when the sun comes out, you can really see the pearl in the paint. As we wrap around to the side, an interesting touch about these headlights is they do say Corolla Cross inside. Moving on to wheels and tires, we have a 17-inch alloy wheel on this LE model, and the tire here is a Continental Pro Contact. The tire size is 215/65 R17. This one in particular also came with these mudguards, which are a $129 manufacturer option on the sticker. There's 2 really cool body lines on the side of the Corolla Cross that sort of make an arrow shape. So from the front fender into the front doors, we have this little arrow shape, and also from the rear doors to the rear quarter panel, there's a slightly larger arrow shape over there. There's also a body line that runs throughout the middle of the doors. We also have a color-matched side view mirror over here that has a turn signal indicator built into the side. And if we wrap around, the LE does get blind spot monitors, and this is also a heated mirror. If you get an L model, you're not going to get the blind spot monitors, but it is standard on LE and XLE. Also standard on LE and XLE is the smart key system, so we do have keyless entry with push button start. We can tap on these lines right here to lock the Corolla Cross, and then if we want to unlock it, we just have to put our hand on the door handle. As usual, while filming, we have a visitor. Hello. Up at the top, we have these black roof rails, which are standard, but the crossbars mounted on top of the roof rails are optional accessories. You'll notice as well that this LE does not have a sunroof, but if you do want a sunroof, it is a $940 option on the LE model. On the rear quarter panel over here, we have this black trim piece that has the words Corolla Cross engraved into it. The black trim pieces also go around all of the windows. Also over here, we have our fuel door, which has to be opened from within inside the cabin, but the Corolla Cross takes regular 87 octane fuel. Moving on to the rear now, at the very top, we have a color-matched shark fin antenna. And on the rear glass over here, we have a wiper and a spray jet mounted just above right there. Moving down below from that, there is a Toyota emblem and a couple of other badges down here. On the left side, we have Corolla Cross, and on the right side, it says LE all-wheel drive. Below all that, we have the rear view camera, which is mounted just above the license plate frame. The rear bumper is mostly just black plastic, but we do have 2 red reflectors on the rear bumper. There's also going to be a tow hook cover over there, and down below all of that, there is 1 single exhaust tip hanging from the right side. The LE model does not have a power liftgate, so you are going to have to manually lift up the liftgate by hand, but it does unlock as long as the key is nearby. Inside the cargo area, we have a box here that has our floor mats for inside the cabin. We also have our rear cargo rubber mat over here, and underneath this floorboard, there is a spare tire with some tools. What's really interesting also about the cargo area here in the Corolla Cross is we have these side areas that go a little bit deeper than where the floor here is. So if you have some objects that like to move around, you can stash them in the side. The rear seats have a 60-40 folding split, so we can go ahead and just reach back over here pull on this tab and push the seats forward, just like that. If you don't have longer arms, it's probably a lot easier to just open the rear doors and pull from the other side. We're gonna jump inside and talk about some of the interior features now, and as usual, we're starting off with the door card. So the door card material here is made up of a mix of this plastic and a little bit of leather over here. We do have auto up-down windows on all 4 corners, a window lock button, lock, unlock. Our mirror controls are over here. We do also have this black door handle, which is really cool, kind of seeing it against this light gray plastic. Just down below that, we do have some water bottle storage, as well as one of our 6 interior speakers over here. If you do want to upgrade to the 9 JBL speakers, it is a factory option that costs $1,465. Shifting focus over to the seats, we have the light gray interior fabric over here. The inner portions of this fabric seat have this little diamond stitched cutout over here. And we also have 2 different gray colors. So the side right here is a slightly different gray than what we have for the main portion of the seat. Both the driver and the passenger seat are also not powered, so all adjustments being made are going to be manual. Just beside the seat, there is a release for the fuel door, and moving up from there, we have a release for the hood. We have a couple of blank switches over here, but to the left of that, we have our automatic high beams button, as well as a brightness control for the center gauges. Also, since we're down here, we can pull down on this lever, and we can adjust the steering wheel up, down, in, or out. Sitting inside of the Corolla Cross LE now, we have this leather-wrapped steering wheel over here, which I may just be going crazy, but the leather doesn't feel as soft as it does on some of the other models that I've sat in recently, like the Highlander or the RAV4. So this might be a different leather, or I'm just going crazy. We have our airbag and horn over here in the center, as well as a lot of different buttons on the steering wheel. So our bottom row here is going to control mainly audio and multimedia functions. Left side over here controls the 4-inch center gauge, which we'll show you in a moment. We also have a return button for those gauges, pick up and end the phone call. And on the right side, we have some of our Toyota Safety Sense features, like our radar cruise control and lane depart assist. The LE has standard push button start, so let's go ahead and turn on the car. Taking a look at the center gauges now, we have our tachometer on the left and engine temperature. On the right side, we have our fuel gauge as well as our speedometer, and in the center is that 4-inch screen. This 4-inch screen can be controlled using these buttons over here on the steering wheel, so we can go ahead and use this right arrow to see different information like what music is playing, trip information, settings for some of the safety features, warning messages. You can see the fuel is currently low, so it's warning me about that. And lastly, we have this little eco indicator over here, which has most of your useful information while driving. Behind the steering wheel, we have automatic headlights on the LE, and to the right side, there's going to be our windshield wiper controls. Moving on to the center screen, we have this 8-inch touchscreen over here, which does have Toyota's new audio and multimedia system. So this is now wirelessly connected to my phone, and I have Apple CarPlay on the screen. Android Auto Wireless is also compatible, or you can use standard Bluetooth. Just below the screen, we have 2 air vents and our emergency lights. Then we have our single zone climate control, so you can only change the temperature for one side, and that's going to adjust it for the entire cabin, but we do also have an auto button over here. Moving down, we have some more blank switches and one USB-C port over here. There is also a wireless phone charger, which Toyota wireless phone chargers were never really the best. You can see as I put my phone over there, it's going to start to charge. But as you start accelerating with this car, there's nothing really to protect your phone from sliding out, so it's very easy for the phone to just come sliding as soon as you press on the gas pedal. Moving over to the shifter area, we do have our traction off button over here, as well as a way to turn off the automatic start-stop feature. So if you're not a fan of the engine shutting off when you come to a complete stop to save gas, you can turn off that feature just by pushing over here. Next up, we have our transmission shifter, which this is a CVT transmission, but it does have a way to simulate gears using this little manual mode. Below that, we have our electronic parking brake, which you may have just noticed does go up and down automatically as you go in and out of the gears. And just next to that, we have a brake hold feature, which will hold the brake pedal for you. If you're at a really long red light or stuck in traffic, you don't have to keep your foot on the brake pedal and the car's not going to roll forward. Then we have these 2 cup holders over here, as well as this very tiny center console area. The center console area does have another USB-C port as well as a 12-volt power outlet. Moving on over to the passenger seat, our door card is pretty much more or less the same of what we had over on the driver's side. We also have our glove box down here, which is a pretty average size here for the size of this car, and we just have some paperwork for this Corolla Cross over here. On this dashboard, we have some more soft touch plastics with a little bit of design, kind of the stitching that runs across this dashboard. And behind the screen, we have this silver trimming that runs across the dash and wraps around the vent, just like how you would see in a sedan Corolla. And if you haven't noticed already, the interior of this Corolla Cross is almost identical to what you would see in a sedan Corolla. Moving up from the dash, we have our rear view mirror, which is not auto dimming, so you are going to have to dim it yourself. And up from there, we have our light controls over here, as well as an emergency SOS button. Like mentioned earlier, this one here in particular did not come with a sunroof, but it is a factory option on this Corolla Cross LE. And our visors also have a light and a mirror built into them. You also can move this visor around and have this little piece for extra coverage, but the visor itself does not fully extend. Let's go ahead and jump into the second row of the Corolla Cross now. Starting with the door card, we have a little bit of storage over here, as well as a single water bottle holder on each of the door cards. And that's probably because we don't have this folding center armrest that we do have in most cars. Instead, there's just nothing over here, and it's just an entire bench for 3 people to sit. Let's go ahead and jump inside now. There is no storage pocket here behind the driver's seat, but there is a storage pocket behind the passenger seat. Over here, we also have 2 air vents, as well as 2 USB-C ports, which are kind of well hidden down there. There's also a button here to turn on and off the light. If you turn the light off, it's still going to remain on if the door is open. And here you can see the amount of legroom that I have sitting behind myself. The driver's seat is positioned in the way that I was just driving. You can see my knees are almost touching here, so there's still not a lot of legroom here in this Corolla Cross. That's going to do it for this week's overview of the 2023 Toyota Corolla Cross LE all-wheel drive. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us grow and make more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.